When the noise suddenly turns into silence, that's when the real danger starts. Boosie already spoke. The threats are out there, hanging in the air. And then, NBA YoungBoy made a silent move. No tweets, no lives, no explanations, just silence, and in the rap game, silence is the loudest warning of all. Fans froze. Comment sections exploded with theories. Everyone is asking the same question: what is YoungBoy really planning? Because when YoungBoy goes quiet, history starts talking for him. This beef is no longer about diss tracks and clout. This is about ego, about respect, about street codes being tested in real time. When Boosie crossed the line, most people expected an instant response. But YoungBoy didn't rush. He waited, and in this game, waiting means lining up the perfect strike. Insiders say phones are ringing behind the scenes. OGs are whispering, "This ain't rap anymore." Fans feel it in their gut, something bad is coming. And the scariest part? YoungBoy's track record. When he moves in silence, what follows is never just music. It's a statement, a reminder, a line drawn in permanent ink. Right now, the question isn't when the response is dropping. The real question is, does YoungBoy's next move flip the entire beef upside down? Or has this feud already crossed into a zone where there's no turning back? Stay locked in, because this is only the beginning. The storm is coming. The storm doesn't always announce itself with thunder. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, moving through the cracks while everyone's still arguing about the last loud moment. That's exactly where we are right now. After Boosie's threats echoed across the internet, the hip-hop world waited for the explosion. A rant, a diss, a viral live, something, anything. But NBA YoungBoy did the opposite. He disappeared from the noise, and that's what shook people the most. Because anyone who's followed YoungBoy's career knows this pattern. When he's loud, it's emotion. When he's silent, it's calculation. Fans started replaying old moments, old beefs, old situations where YoungBoy went quiet, and what came after was never small, never harmless, never forgettable. Silence, for him, isn't weakness, it's preparation. Behind the scenes, the energy shifted. Group chats lit up. Phones rang at odd hours. People close to both camps started asking the same question in private: is this really about to go there? Boosie isn't new to controversy. He's built a career on saying what he wants, when he wants, consequences be damned. He speaks from a place of raw emotion, street honesty, and lived experience. When he feels disrespected, he doesn't hold back, and that's exactly what happened here. But YoungBoy doesn't play the same game. Where Boosie confronts head-on, YoungBoy moves sideways. Where others look for immediate validation from the crowd, YoungBoy has always moved like he's playing chess in a room full of people arguing over checkers. That's why the silence hit different. Fans started noticing small things. A change in who YoungBoy followed. A post that disappeared minutes after going up. Lyrics from unreleased snippets suddenly resurfacing online, sounding way more pointed than before. Nothing direct. Nothing obvious. But enough to make people uneasy. And then there's the history. YoungBoy's past beefs didn't end with friendly conversations or quiet fade-outs. They ended with careers damaged, alliances broken, and entire fan bases divided. When he feels challenged, he doesn't just respond, he is overwhelmed. That's why insiders began whispering that this situation was being taken seriously. Not as content. Not as an internet drama. But as something that could spiral if nobody pumps the brakes. OGs reportedly reached out behind the scenes. Not to start more noise, but to stop what they could already see building. Because once pride and reputation get involved, especially between two artists who've both survived real street pressure, logic tends to leave the room. What makes this even more dangerous is timing. YoungBoy is at a point where he doesn't need approval. He doesn't need features. He doesn't need validation from the industry. His fanbase is loyal, reactive, and ready to ride no matter what direction he takes. That kind of power, combined with silence, makes people nervous. Boosie, on the other hand, represents something different. An older generation mindset. A voice that speaks for authenticity, for saying things out loud instead of hiding behind coded messages. That contrast alone turns this beef into more than personal tension. It becomes symbolic. Old school bluntness versus new school mystery. Outspoken versus unreadable. And fans are split right down the middle. Some say Boosie is right for calling things out directly. Others argue YoungBoy's silence is the smartest move he could make. But everyone agrees on one thing: when the next move comes, it's going to matter. Because silence builds pressure. And pressure always looks for a release. The scary part isn't a diss track. It's not a tweet. It's not even a viral clip. The scary part is not knowing how YoungBoy plans to respond. Will it be music? Will it be a move that forces Boosie to react publicly? Or will it be something that doesn't even look like a response at first until it's too late to ignore? Fans keep refreshing. Blogs keep speculating. And every hour that passes without a word only makes the situation feel heavier. This is how beef changes from entertainment into something unpredictable. When both sides feel justified. When neither wants to look weak. And when silence starts speaking louder than threats. Right now, the game is paused, but not stopped. And if history tells us anything, it's this: NBA YoungBoy doesn't stay quiet forever. Whatever comes next won't just answer Boosie. It'll set the tone for everything after. Because once the silence breaks, there's no rewinding it. Because once the silence breaks, there's no rewinding it. And that's when the first cracks started to show. It didn't happen on a major platform. It didn't trend right away. It started quietly, the same way all dangerous moments do. A producer close to YoungBoy's circle unfollowed Boosie. A longtime affiliate posted a cryptic caption: "Don't confuse patience with fear." No names mentioned. No shots fired directly. But the message was loud enough for the people who needed to hear it. Fans caught it instantly. Screenshots spread. Blogs picked it up. And suddenly, the silence wasn't empty anymore. It was loaded. That's when reactions started pouring in. Not public statements. Not interviews. But subtle moves from the industry that told a bigger story. Artists who normally speak on everything stayed quiet. Others started saying things like, "I hope this don't go where it looked like it's headed." OGs hinted in interviews that some beefs don't need fuel. Translation? People were nervous. Because when someone like NBA YoungBoy stops responding emotionally and starts moving strategically, everyone knows what time it is. This isn't his first storm. He's walked through fire before and came out louder, bigger, and more untouchable. And that's exactly why this situation feels different. Boosie didn't back down. He didn't clean it up. He didn't soften his tone. Instead, he doubled down on his stance, not naming YoungBoy directly, but making it clear he wasn't taking anything back. To Boosie, respect is non-negotiable. Say what you feel, stand on it, and deal with whatever comes next. That mindset earned him respect for decades. But it also puts him directly in the path of someone who doesn't play by the same rules. YoungBoy's fans began dissecting everything. Old lyrics, past interviews, moments where he hinted at how he handles conflict. And the conclusion they all came to is the same: he's never quiet for no reason. Then came the whispers. Industry insiders started suggesting that YoungBoy wasn't planning a response, he was planning timing. Waiting for the moment when the impact would hit hardest. When attention was locked. When the narrative could be flipped with one move. And the scariest part? Nobody knew what that move was. Some believed music was coming. A track so cold, so calculated, it wouldn't need direct threats. Just facts, pain, and precision. The kind of song that doesn't yell, it stares. Others thought it would be something indirect. A collaboration. A visual. A release that shifts the conversation completely and leaves Boosie reacting instead of leading. But there was another theory. The one nobody liked talking about. That this beef was drifting away from performance and into principle. Because when pride is involved, especially between two men who've both survived pressure from the streets, the internet stops being the main stage. And that's where things get unpredictable. OGs started calling both sides. Not to pick sides, but to prevent fallout. They've seen this movie before. They know how fast words turn into actions. And they know how much damage gets done when nobody wants to be the first to step back. Meanwhile, fans weren't calming anything down. They were choosing teams, pushing narratives, turning speculation into fuel. Every comment section became a battleground. Every clip turned into proof. That silence started feeling heavier by the day. Not empty, intentional. Like the calm before something irreversible. Boosie supporters argued that silence meant hesitation. YoungBoy supporters argued it meant control. Two completely different interpretations, and that divide only made the beef bigger. What really shifted the energy, though, was a leaked behind-the-scenes detail that sent shockwaves through the blogs. According to multiple sources, people close to both camps were told to stay out of it. No sneak disses. No commentary. No picking sides publicly. That alone told fans this wasn't just online drama anymore. Because when camps start issuing quiet instructions, it means someone's thinking long-term. The pressure was on. And history wasn't helping. YoungBoy's past showed a clear pattern. When he feels cornered, he doesn't explode, he evolves. He adapts the narrative, forces everyone else to react, and walks away stronger. Boosie's history showed something else. When he feels disrespected, he doesn't retreat, he stands taller. Even if it costs him peace. Those two paths don't cross easily. And that's why this moment feels like a crossroads. One wrong move. One misunderstood message. One reaction taken the wrong way. That's all it takes. Fans can feel it. The industry can feel it. Even the silence feels different now. Because silence, when stretched too long, turns into a statement whether you want it to or not. And right now, NBA YoungBoy's silence is saying one thing loud and clear. He's not done. The question is no longer if he responds. It's how, when, and what that response changes forever. Because once the next move is made, there won't be room for confusion. There won't be room for speculation. Only consequences. And whatever happens next won't just define this beef. It'll redefine how far it was always meant to go. Because once the silence breaks, there's no rewinding it. And that's when people realize this wasn't just a pause, it was a decision. NBA YoungBoy staying quiet wasn't accidental anymore. It wasn't about waiting for the right headline or the right moment online. It was deeper than that. The silence started to feel intentional, like he was letting the pressure build so high that when something finally happened, it wouldn't just land, it would crush. The first real shift came when trusted voices in hip-hop stopped joking about the situation. No memes. No playful takes. Just serious tones and careful words. That's always the sign. Behind closed doors, conversations changed. People weren't asking who's winning anymore. They were asking who's going to step in before this gets ugly. Because when two artists with real street credibility lock into a standoff, nobody wants to be the one caught in the middle. Boosie, meanwhile, stayed exactly who he's always been. Unfiltered. Unapologetic. Standing on what he said. He didn't chase YoungBoy's silence. He didn't beg for a response. To Boosie, respect doesn't require back and forth. You say what you feel, and you live with it. That mentality earned him love, but it also meant he wasn't about to soften his stance just because the internet got nervous. And that's where the danger really lived. Because now you had two men moving in opposite ways, but toward the same collision. One loud and firm. The other quiet and unreadable. Neither backing down. Neither looking for peace publicly. Fans began noticing something else too. YoungBoy's camp wasn't posting like usual. No random flexing. No extra noise. Just focus. And in hip-hop, focus is often more threatening than anger. Rumors started swirling that music was being finished, not rushed, not emotional, but cold and precise. The kind of tracks that don't scream names but leave no doubt who they're aimed at. Music designed to shift power, not win arguments. But others believed the response wouldn't even be music at first. They believed YoungBoy was letting Boosie sit with his own words while the world watched, turning silence into a mirror. Forcing fans to debate, choose sides, and escalate things without him lifting a finger. If that was the strategy, it was working. The fanbase split hardened. Arguments turned personal. Online energy turned hostile. And once fans start fighting harder than the artists themselves, you know the situation has gone too far. OG started stepping in publicly now, not naming names, but clearly addressing the tension. Saying things like, "Everybody gotta survive this," and "Not every response gotta be loud." Those weren't random quotes. Those were warnings. Because everyone involved knew the same truth. Once pride and reputation are fully involved, stepping back looks like losing, even when it's the smartest move. YoungBoy's silence became the headline itself. Blogs stopped asking where's the response and started asking what does the silence mean. Analysts broke down patterns from his past beefs, showing how every major shift in his career was preceded by this same quiet phase. That history made people uneasy. Because when YoungBoy finally moves, it's usually not to end the conversation, it's to change it. And Boosie? He wasn't afraid of that. To him, confrontation isn't something to dodge. It's something you face head-on. He's lived through worse than internet backlash. He's survived real pressure. And that confidence made it clear he wasn't going to blink just because the room got quiet. That's when insiders started using a word nobody wanted to hear, irreversible. Meaning whatever comes next won't be undone by apologies, interviews, or explanations. Once that next move happens, both sides are locked into the outcome, good or bad. And that's the moment we're standing in now. A moment where silence is no longer neutral. Where every hour without a response feels heavier. Where anticipation itself becomes dangerous. Because when the response finally comes, whether it's a song, a move, or something nobody expects, it won't just answer Boosie. It'll define this entire chapter. It'll decide whether this beef stays in hip-hop history as a tense standoff or crosses into something darker. Right now, the internet is holding its breath. Because everyone knows one thing for sure, NBA YoungBoy doesn't stay silent forever. And when that silence ends, it never ends quietly. Whatever happens next won't just shock fans, it'll remind the industry why silence is sometimes the loudest threat of all. And once it breaks, there's no going back. Yo, fam, hold up. Before you scroll away, listen up, this story isn't over, and neither is the conversation. You just witnessed the tension, the silence, the threats, and the buildup. Now it's your turn to get involved. We want to hear what you think. Who's really moving smarter here? Is Boosie standing strong, speaking his truth and showing no fear? Or is NBA YoungBoy playing the long game, letting silence do the talking while the streets and fans panic? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't hold back. We're not looking for polite opinions, we're looking for raw, honest takes. And hey, don't just watch from the sidelines. Hit that subscribe button, because this beef isn't over yet. We'll break down every move, every hint, every leaked reaction, and keep you locked in before anyone else does. Turn on that notification bell too. You'll want to be the first to know when drops, because trust me, it's about to get explosive. If you've got a theory, a favorite side, or just want to roast the other camp, post it. Every comment, every share, every like pushes the story further and keeps the conversation alive. This is your space to react, predict, and even debate with other fans who are just as invested. So, are you Team Boosie? Or Team YoungBoy? Or just here for the chaos? Either way, smash that like, drop your comment, subscribe, and get ready, because part 3 is coming, and it's gonna shake the streets, the internet, and the entire rap game. Stay locked.